in Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. Senator Tuberville, great to see you, sir. Thank you for your time. Just a quick thought. You probably heard this conversation about Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, and the federal government can take action to shut down federal funding of these universities that are wrung out by anti-Semitism and DEI, and the Jewish students are not safe. What do you make of it, Mr. Tuberville?
Well, I spent 40 years, Larry, on college campuses, and the northern part of our country and the blue states, the animals run in the zoo. They have no control. There's no leadership. We're not running daycare centers on our college campuses. These kids need to be accountable. Now, you can protest all you want, do it the right way, but don't do harm to other people. Don't get in other people's way. As you was talking about, some young lady possibly might not get her degree because they canceled school. But Tom Cotton and I have got a bill that says, hey, if you're arrested in a protest, you don't even have an opportunity to get your tuition waived by President Biden, which is illegal, by the way. We've got to do something to put these kids in place, but they are kids. They're obviously not grown-ups. We're not having this in the South because we're telling them, you can't do this. You can't interrupt business on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I think the behavior at the University of Texas and the University of Florida was very good. They stepped in fast. Administrators stepped in fast, and governors DeSantis and Greg, I'm sorry, I can't remember his last name.
Greg Abbott.
Greg Abbott. Sorry, he's a good man. Anyway, DeSantis and Abbott backed up the school presidents, and so the disturbance was minimal. Senator, just another thing. There is talk now that the Biden administration is going to have Palestinian refugees coming into the United States. And I wondered, you're going to be confronted with that in some ways. What do you think of that?
Well, I heard about this about a month ago, Larry. This is really not new news. It's just really starting to get out there. I said it on a couple of stations, and even some of my colleagues said, you're crazy. That's not ever going to happen. It's going to happen. Joe Biden is riding the fence. He wants to get votes from both sides. He's pushing the narrative a little bit too much here. He brings people from Gaza into the United States of America, where Saudi Arabia, Egypt, none of their countries, they're people that really assimilate with the Gazans. They don't want anything to do with them. But Joe Biden's going to bring them in. He does not care what happens to the American people or what happens to our country. He just wants power. He wants to get reelected. And again, he's taking a lot of heat for what's going on right now. He thinks this is going to get him more votes in some of the areas like Detroit and Minneapolis.
Well, I think the breakdown of these college campuses, the ruckus, in some cases violence, is going to be very damaging. I mean, I think the root of this, just as a last thought, Dershowitz has said this, other people have said this. DEI, which the Bidens push, I mean, Joe Biden is practically the progenitor of DEI in the federal government, in the colleges, universities, in the schools. That has bred anti-Semitism. People see Jews as the oppressors for whatever reason, and so hence comes the violence. I mean, this is not going to help Joe Biden, is it?
Well, what I've told people all along is the Democrats, especially the ones up here in Congress, what I see them doing is they're trying to divide our country. They want us to hate each other. They think that that's a way for them to keep power. We can't allow that to happen. We can't allow hate, especially on our college campuses, because it just goes everywhere from there. But, we've got to regain control of our presidencies across the country, our governors, our mayors in some of these blue states. These people don't care. We're a third world country now, but they've got to get some intelligence in terms of what our country is about and what it's going to be about, 248 years from now. That's how long we've been a country.
Yes, sir. Time is always short. I'm sorry, Senator, but I got to jump out. Senator Tommy Tuberville, we always enjoy. Thanks very much. Coming up, folks, Joe